Alright, so our second part 2 of writing equations of a line, we're going to talk now in this lesson about equations in slope-intercept form and also in standard form. So by the end of this lesson you'll be able to write in 2 more forms. Remember, we've already done point-slope form, which is different than these two. In point-slope, just to jog your memory, y minus y1 equals m, and then in parentheses times x minus x1. Okay, so slope-intercept is going to be a little different. It's going to be y equals mx plus b. You've actually seen this before. These are of lines that we've graphed, and where m still represents slope and b still represents the y-intercept. So a simple example of that would be something like this, where we are given that slope is -2 and y-intercept is 6, which means our m equals -2 and our b, or y-intercept, equals 6. All we need to do is plug in the numbers that were given for m and b. Okay, y and x should actually stay as variables, as letters. So we're going to say y equals, instead of m I write -2x plus our b is 6. And that would be our equation. And now we could also graph this line if you were asked to. Remember, going back, I'd go y-intercept is 6, so I go up 6, and then our slope is -2, which remember really is -2 over 1, so I go down 2, right 1, and then I could draw my line there. Okay, that would be how we would graph it. Now a little bit more complicated point or problem would be when we're given a slope of 6, which means, nice and easy still, we have our slope is 6, but it passes through a point, -2, -5. So this time we have no b. Now there's a couple different ways we could go about this. On this video I'm going to show you is taking point slope form, and I suggest that because we were actually given a point and the slope. So if we plug into point slope form like we did before, we're going to say y minus y1, or y minus 5, equals 6 for m, and then x, I'm going to write it as plus 2 because minus a negative, remember. And now you'll notice, since there's no b, we plug in and solve for y, meaning we want y by itself. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is distribute that 6. So I'm going to end up with y minus 5 equals 6x plus 12. And now since I want y by itself, I need to get rid of this minus 5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And you'll notice you need to do it to both sides. So we end up with y equals 6x plus 17. And that would be the equation in slope-intercept form again. Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about then is standard form, which you have actually also seen before too, ax plus by equals c. And when we graphed this one, remember this is the one where we did x-intercepts and y-intercepts. So we did x-intercepts, we said y was 0, y-intercepts, we said x was 0. Now we're not going to do all that because we're actually trying to find the equation. One thing we're not going to do is write the equation in this form. What we are going to do is manipulate the other equations we've seen so we can put them in this form. Okay, big thing here are the x and y on same side. So make sure you add this and you note the x and the y are on the same side, and the number, or we call that the constant, on the opposite side. And when I say on opposite sides, I'm referring to location of the equal sign. So if we look at an example here, we want an equation that has slope of 5. So again, we're told that our slope is 5, that means m is 5, and it passes through this point. So again, if we want standard form, we're going to start by plugging in to slope-intercept form. Okay, so y minus our y value equals our slope, and then times x minus our x value, I'm going to write as x plus 4. Okay, same idea as when we were doing slope-intercept form. I'm going to say y minus 3. I'm going to distribute my 5, so 5x plus 20. And now remember, we want the x's and the y's on the same side. So in other words, I need to bring this x over here, and at the same time, I need to bring that -3 over there. So to do that, if I rewrite my equation here, I'm only going to rewrite it because I don't want that red in the way. I want to get rid of that -3, so I'm going to say let's add 3 to both sides. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 to the 20 as well. Now, if I want to get rid of this 5x, meaning I don't want it to be here, I want to shift it over there, I need to subtract 5x. So I'm going to write minus 5x right there. Okay, now this can get confusing, so make sure you probably want to draw that line down the middle. All right, that negative 3 and that plus 3 cancel out. That's the whole point of doing that. And we're going to have a negative 5x. We don't want to multiply these. We need to say plus y. There's essentially a plus right here. Bring down your equals. Again, 5x minus 5x cancel out. 20 plus 3 is going to give us 23. So this would be the solution to our equation. Negative 5x plus y equals 23. And that would be in standard form because our x's and y's are on one side and our constant, or just our number, is on the other side. Alright, so those are our last two types of equations. So we went over slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And we went over standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. And one thing I'm going to add is that a, b, and c here are just numbers. Okay, and to get these, we used our point-slope form, which we covered last set of notes. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and that will be it for this video. We'll see you next time.